Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the prediction show from Eagle Pass Sports Central. Coming to you live today from Choche's Barbecue here on Veterans Boulevard. You know where it is. Come on down and have some good barbecue. Eagle Pass's own little piece of barbecue heaven here in Eagle Pass. Joined today, my name is Ruben Valadez, and I'm joined today by the coaching staffs for both the Mavericks and the Eagles. We're going to talk to them a little bit about their performances last week and looking ahead to the last week of the regular season this Thursday and Friday here in Eagle Pass. Before we do that, we want to thank Choche's Barbecue for their hospitality here and hosting us here this afternoon. And on behalf of Universal Media Connections, we want to thank Valdez Tire and Record Service, Nevada's Law Firm, Allstate, Onesimo Elizondo, Sarita's Tortilla Factory, TNT Rentals, Stat Emergency, Tabany Insurance, Chapa Law Group, Choche's Barbecue, Lorena Melo State Farm, Brown Chevrolet, Vargas Hardware, Ruiz & Associates, Maverick AC Supply, Rudy's Optical, Yopos, and United Medical Centers. And on behalf of Eagle Pass Sports Central, we want to thank Brown Chevrolet, Buick GMC of Eagle Pass, Ancira Ford of Eagle Pass, Choche's Barbecue, State Representative Eddie Morales, and IBC Bank for their sponsorship of these broadcasts. We'll see if we have a minute to talk to Choche later on today. He's a little busy. We're here during the lunch rush, so he's busy attending to the folks coming here during lunch, but we want to thank him again for hosting us here. I want to turn our attention first here to my left to head coach Eric Villaseñor and the Mavericks. Coach, we were down there just last Friday for that game between the Mavericks and the Martin Tigers. You had a good opening drive, looked very promising there, and then unfortunately took a loss. We talked a couple of times during the broadcast, more than X's and O's, about the grit and desire and hard work of your team and that never give up attitude that we had discussed a week before. Talk to us a little bit about the performance from your team this past week.
I thought our kids came out great, but as you stated, good opening drive to open the ball game, a 15-play drive, put some points on the board, and then kind of ran into some self-inflicted wounds. Had some penalties, some things that didn't go our way, had to punt the ball away. And then right before the half, Martin puts together a 21-play drive that certainly took the gas out of our defense. I thought our defense played exceptionally well, but if Martin ran a lot of offensive plays. I think we had 16 offensive plays in the first half. But took the gas out of us. Kids responded well, had some opportunities there at the end, recovered an onside, dropped one in the end zone, but nonetheless, didn't get the result that we wanted. But just proud of our kids.
There's a close, exciting game there at the end. Yeah. We had converted on that 2-point. We would have been within a possession of coming up to them. We talked and we noticed during the broadcast it was a tough physical game. And you had two players in particular, Jaime Barrientos and Humberto Munoz, who just refused to stay down. Those guys kept coming back onto the field. Talk to us about the grit of your team this late in the season after the the toughness of the season.
No, and those guys go both ways for us. We use them on offense, and they give us great opportunities on the edge to do some things offensively, and then there are catalysts on defensive end and our linebackers. So credit to them. They played about 100 snaps, and they gave us the best that they could on Friday night.
Looking forward, this Friday's homecoming for the Mavericks, homecoming parade. Tonight you've got Southside coming in on homecoming evening. Talk to us about the preparation that you've got for them.
Well, Southside's a great football team. They're the district leader. Coach Locke does a fantastic job with that program. And we're, when we've always battled each other, it's always been a physical battle. And, our kids are going to put forth their best effort. We've had a good week of preparation. And on top of that, we get our former alumni coming in during homecoming week, and we just, another added incentive to be excited about Friday night.
Absolutely. Let's talk to offense. You can stay right there, I think, Coach. I think the mic will reach offense coordinator Heriberto Royce about the preparation this coming week. What are you seeing when Southside comes in on Friday?
Well, like Coach mentioned, it's going to be a physical game as well as that they run an out front. With reduced nines, kind of like Laredo Martin showed us this past week. Obviously, their go-to guys defensively is their nose and their linebackers. So, we're going to have to, like Coach said, play clean, all right, and make sure that we take care of the controllables of what we need to do as far as taking care of the football, extend drives. This past week, we're only, I believe we only had like 35 plays offensively. We need to make sure that we get to our weekly goals as far as staying on the field, 65 or more. And again, don't keep any turnovers, especially early. We scored last week in the first quarter and then nothing until the fourth quarter. So we have to stay consistent, play our game, stick to our scheme, and execute the best way we can. Obviously, Tadeo Rivera is doing a great job. Three weeks consecutive over 120 yards. He's been doing a great job, and obviously he starts with a line that they're every week in and week out. They've been doing a great job. So we're looking forward to this Friday to also compete at a high level. We understand the type of skill team that we're playing, but we're a skilled team as well, and we got to remain confident as well.
Absolutely. Let's talk to defense coordinator Rene Ramirez. We'll try to get you in frame here. There you go, Coach. Want to scoot over there so that the folks can see you, the folks at home. Coach, talk to us a little bit about what you expect to see offensively now from Southside when they come in on Friday.
We expect to see a balanced offense simply because there's a lot of two-way players. So and we feel that to alleviate some of the run, they'll start throwing the football. Again, as we mentioned, it's a running back by committee. They're going to be based out of 21 personnel. Again, we'll try to establish a run as much as they can, like we mentioned, and just test us on the outside, keep us honest with some vertical routes and some screen game, things like that. Both Coach Royce and Coach Villaseñor mentioned a physical game, so we're anticipating that. It's been like that in the past. I think it's been like that every district game, and we match it as well. So again, we're ready. Like Coach mentioned, we've been prepared. Similar schemes that we've seen throughout the weeks. So nothing different really. They're going to go for it on fourth down as much as they can. They're a AAA team, so they're going to take advantage of that. So we need to be on our toes throughout. Coaches and players. Again, we're excited. Homecoming a game for our seniors. So here come the Mavericks.
Very good. Well, bring it back here to head coach Eric Villaseñor. Coach, Rene Ramirez just brought up something I think it's important. It's senior night also.
Yes.
For your graduating seniors. Talk about that group and what it means for the service that they've given to the Mavericks in the past 4 years and what it means to see them move on.
Well, I mean, we've seen those kids in seventh grade, and to see them now at this point, it's bittersweet. But we want to make sure that we send them off the right way, and they've been loyal, trustworthy, and committed to our program. We fall back on our core values, and they certainly exemplify that. And we just want to make sure that we provide that experience in our program, and that they continue to be better citizens, husbands, and whatever they choose to do in their career, that they're productive.
Well, good. And your program sure has instilled that in them. Thank you, Coach. We'll come back to you here in a minute.
Just want to wish
the
Eagle Pass Eagles best of luck.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Turn this way now to Coach Tom Gonzalez. Coach, we were down there in Laredo too. These weeks are so busy. Sometimes they all kind of blend in, but we were there at the SAC in Laredo for the victory this past week over United South. It's an important one for your district standings and looking toward the playoffs. Talk a little bit about the performance of your team last week.
Our kids came out, and like we said last week, they had a really good week of practice. They were focused, and we did miss the opportunity of sealing the game early. We went in at halftime by I think 2 touchdowns and stuff, but I think we could have put it away even earlier. But besides that, our kids, hung on and they played hard all the game.
They sure did. And, those are the types of games that make coaches uncomfortable. Yeah. I know. They're closer than they should be,
right,
really.
Exactly.
And that's really when you find out a lot about your kids, I think, at the end. And right. they did battle all the way through. Talk about the performance of your quarterback and your folks there in the backfield. Cadrian Rodriguez, I know, contributed some last week.
Yeah. I mean, our quarterback's been consistent. Andres has been consistent all year. He's been really good. He's pinpoint. He knows the defense. He knows our offense like the back of his hand. So he throws good footballs to our receivers are really good. It's fun to watch those guys. You mentioned our tailback. We have Emilio Mendoza at tailback, along with Cadrian Rodriguez and Jorge Sierra, and those guys. They all play a big part in our scheme of things. But everyone contributed really well. I think our defense really played an awesome game in holding United South and keeping them down the way they should have. And in the end, we came out with a big victory.
And once it gets close like that, you rely on your defense, and I think defense stepped up that game. I want to look ahead now a little bit to what's a little bit of a rivalry down
Yeah.
here in South Texas, Del Rio and Eagle Pass. It's over 100 years old, and the folks are just as passionate, I know, as they were 50, 60, 70 years ago when the Rams come into town. Talk to us about the preparation that you've had moving
like you
forward.
said, I mean, it's been going on for over 100 years. I think the older people in town are more excited about this game than the kids, but the kids get up for it, and on both teams they get up for it. We do have CC Win as our main rival now in town, and so that's like Texas A&M against Texas, whereas Del Rio to us is like Oklahoma and Texas, but it's still a rivalry, and our kids know what's at stake. We have to win to get in the playoffs. They have to win to get in the playoffs. So it's a big game, and we're excited about it.
We'll talk to offensive coordinator Javier Cárdenas here, Coach. We'll talk to you a little bit about the preparation that you've got. Playoff seeding is on the line. There's still a lot at stake here. The last game of the season. Talk to us about how you're preparing your offense for what Del Rio is going to show you.
I think first of all, Ruben, it's just congratulations to our kids for a well-fought game on last Thursday night. But towards the end of the season, and throughout the season, good coaches, they assess the state of their program, the state of their offense. It's a tremendous blessing to be able to develop teenagers and work with them. It's very challenging. You take on 50, 60, 70 different personalities and that 20 coaches to the staff. So it can be pretty perplexing at times. We started the season off with 5 starters, a new O-line, a running back, a committee of running backs, injuries, the ups and downs, but somehow we were able to sustain and get it done. So we're one victory away from our 7th straight playoff appearance and our 7th consecutive winning season, overall, but also in district. So that's just a testimony to our coaches, to our program, Coach G's leadership. But at South, we wanted to start strong, and we did. 19 points in the first quarter, 7 in the second half, and then we kind of sputtered a little bit. Just mistakes in the red zone. We left 3 touchdowns in the red zone, and very uncharacteristic 3 turnovers. We haven't had 3 turnovers the entire season, and they're all 3 interceptions. So that's very uncharacteristic. But again, we did enough to get to seal the win. And then, of course, our defense stepped it up. We had minimal possessions in the second half, 3 possessions, I think, including the 4th one with our victory formation there at the end. But our defense did a heck of a job stepping up in the second half. And, of course, two important notes that came out from that game besides the victory, of course, is number 1, Andres Garcia surpasses 2,000 yards passing. That's our 4th quarterback to do it in the last 7 years. And then we got Sebastian Diaz. He also surpassed 1,000 yards. I don't keep records or anything like that, but if our late coach Conrado Perez was here, I'm sure he could verify that. I think he's probably the first or second receiver to surpass 1,000 yards in the season. So all that contributes to a great environment there at the high school, and just testimony of our kids and of the program. I'm looking forward to Del Rio. Coach Sherry summarized it. 100-year rivalry. It's a huge game. They win, they throw a wrench in the playoff race. We win, we take care of business, secure our 3rd place spot, and it looks like we're looking at Harlan for next week, and we'll talk about that more on Friday. But just very thankful for the opportunity, and very blessed to be able to work with these kids and on to the victory against Del Rio Thursday night.
Thank you for your time, Coach. Let's talk to Roger Olivas here. Get him in frame.
Making sure I don't fall off.
Defensive coordinator Roger Olivas. Coach, in preparing your defense for this rivalry game on Friday and what the Rams are bringing into town, what are you focusing on, and what's the look that the Rio's going to give?
They're 80% run, but they do have weapons all over the field. Zane Hughes being their biggest player out there. I think he had 2 kickoff returns last year against us. So, there's not too many individuals in our area that are as fast as him, or probably the fastest football player in our region. He ran barely missed making state and track in the 100 and 200. And so we got our hands full with him. They got a big fullback, Ethan Matherin, in the backfield, big fullback that brings, and then Eliseo Ortiz is their quarterback. So they got weapons. All their skilled players are really, really good.
And we talked a little bit about how your defense was crucial last week in the tough moments there and stepping up. What do you talk to them about in terms of energy and emotion coming into a rivalry game like this?
Well, one of the things that we stress is the most physical team's going to win. And the years that we've played South, it's always been a very physical game. And we mentioned to our players last year, Devontae missed that game. He got hurt on the first play or first series against them, and he was a big loss. And we ended up losing to South last year, I think by 5 or 6. And he was there this year. He made a presence. I think he ended up with 18 tackles. He had a couple of sacks. He had some crucial big hits, 4 or 5 that knocked players out of the game. So, our defensive line again, Gunner, Caballero, and Izar, Mauricio stepped up. Tito's been consistent in the middle. So, our front 7 really, really played well. And then, I can't go on to say, we switched one of our safeties to corner, and he's Finlayson, and he's really held down their number 1 receiver in every game that we played. And Mando's always been consistent. So Leckler.
Sure.
So our defense, I think we're getting healthy again. I think we're matching everybody's physical, and I think we're ready for this game. We're expecting a physical game in the trenches.
It looked like you had 9 eyes on Mauricio's out there last game. I looked up one time; he was tackling a wide receiver. I thought, wait a minute, he's way out on the edge. He's all over the place.
Him and Gunner are ends. Coach Reeves does a good job with him. They were all over the field. Yes, it seemed like that, but like I said, I think Gunner ended up with 3 sacks, and I think he had like 6 tackles for losses. So all those were big. Leaving South, and hopefully again this week putting them in second and third in long situations. I think that contributes a lot to our success.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see how that defense does on Thursday night as the Rams come in. We'll talk to Coach Tom Gonzalez again here. Coach, I'll ask you the same question I asked Coach Villaseñor. It's also senior night for Eagle Pass High School tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, talk to us a little bit about what it means to say goodbye to your graduating seniors and the role that they've played on your team for this past year.
Well, like Coach said, it's tough to say goodbye to your seniors every single year. You get a new crop of seniors, and they're your team leaders. They're the ones that have been with you the longest, and it's very hard to say goodbye to them. But we're not saying goodbye yet. We still got a couple more weeks to go, and hopefully, but when it does come down to it, it is going to be tough to let them go.
Well, we hope for the best for all of the seniors.
I want to wish the Mavericks good luck also on their homecoming victory this week.
Thank you, Coach, and we're looking forward to all kinds of homecoming activities. We'll have the homecoming festivities there. Eagle Pass Sports Central will be there for both of these games tomorrow night here at the SAC when the Del Rio Rams come in to face the Eagles, and we'll be there on Friday for homecoming night. For the Mavericks, let's move on to picks, coaches. I know Morris texted me the picks for him and for Coach Graff. I hadn't had a chance to put those in, so we'll just talk about it. Huh? Coach Graff is in the Bat Cave, in the Graff Cave, with all his monitors monitoring, practices and everything. So he knows what he's doing.
Interviewing all the head coaches over there.
And he must know what he's doing because he's at 72-27 by far in the lead for the season, followed by Coach Gonzalez at 66-33.
How accurate is that math?
Well, I think we got.
I think it's off a couple games.
I think we got a couple of messages this week that maybe some of that wasn't working out the way we thought, right?
Yeah.
But Coach, we wish you were here with us to defend yourself today. But since you're not, we got to take a shot because we know what we know. Followed by Coach Eric 64-35. I'm 61-38. Morris is. Comes in at the end at 6.
No wonder he didn't show up today.
We're close. Morris and I are close. And it ought to show you why Morris and I are in the booth and not down on the sidelines coaching. That tells you how much we know. Let's move on to the picks now. The first game here is Laredo United versus Alexander. And again, Coach Graff and Morris sent me their picks, so we'll fill those in later. But we'll start with Coach Tom on this game.
I'm going United.
Coach?
United.
We'll go with United, and I will go with United as well there. The next game is Nixon versus Martin, a really important game, Coach, in your district with a lot of playoff implications. They could –
Winner's in.
Yeah, right.
Winner gets in.
And so give me your pick here, Nixon
I'm
versus
going to go
Martin.
Martin.
Very good.
I'll go Nixon.
We'll take Nixon. I think I'm going to take Martin. Might be recency bias because I just saw them, but I think I liked what they saw. Next game's out of San Antonio, Harlan and Taft. Coach, this has implications for you in the playoffs, depending on who you might see there in that first round. Give me your pick, Harlan and Taft.
Harlan.
Coach is going with Harlan. Coach V? And you all must know something I don't, so I will go with Harlan there. Here's one that was called in by Coach Graff. Kilgore Junior College versus Blinn.
That's a barn burner.
Junior
It's
college.
sold out, I'm sure.
I think it is. Probably all 600 seats there at that stadium will be sold out on a cold afternoon on Saturday. No disrespect to Blinn College. If we have any Blinn College alums watching, no disrespect. Wait, what's your pick there, Coach?
What was the first one?
Kilgore Junior College.
Junior College.
Coach is gonna go with Kilgore.
Go Blinn.
And I'll go with Blinn only because I've actually heard of Blinn before, as opposed to Kilgore. Here's a very important one among certain circles here. Missouri, number 12, Missouri. At number 2, Georgia, down in Athens. Coach, give me your pick on that one.
Georgia.
Yeah, you've got to do the smart thing there, Coach.
I'll go with number 2, Georgia.
Number 2, Georgia Bulldogs. All Ohio State fans are thrilled this morning, and I have to go with Missouri just because I've got to stick by my guys there. Here's a really tough one, also in the Big 12. Kansas State at Texas.
Ooh, Texas.
Coach, gonna go with Texas. I'm gonna go with Texas as well. There. Here's one that has Morris's interest. I'm sure Texas A&M at Ole Miss. Coach,
I'm going to go Ole Miss.
Coach,
I'm going to go A&M.
Go with the Aggies, and I'm going to go with Ole Miss. I think that offense is going to be a little bit too much there for the Aggies down in Mississippi. This is the last Bedlam game, might be forever, for sure for a while. Oklahoma at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma's moving out of the SEC next season, so this might be it for this rivalry. Coach, what's
Oklahoma State.
Going to go with OSU.
Coach, go OU.
Going to go OU. And I think I'm going to pick the Cowboys there too. I think I'm going to go Oklahoma State. I think they're going to have. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, going with the mullet there. I think they've got something to prove. And OU's way out of the conference. TCU up in Lubbock at Texas Tech. Coach,
TCU.
I go with TCU. Coach V.
I'm going to go Texas Tech.
Texas Tech, and I'm going to go with Texas Tech too. I think TCU's having a down year after that national championship game last year. And then the last one. In the NFL, a very tough division matchup. The Cowboys travel up to Philly against the Eagles.
The only time I go against the Eagles, it's the Cowboys.
That's right. You'll take the Cowboys there. Coach V, going to go with the Cowboys. And against my better judgment, because they're going to break my heart, I just know it, on Sunday, I will go with the Cowboys too. We want to thank Choche and all the folks here at Choche's Barbecue. Let me see if I can get his attention, because he's see if we can have him come this way. And thank him for having us here at the Prediction Show, and have him tell all the folks at home about coming down here to Choche's Barbecue. Choche, we caught you in a little lull there during the lunch rush.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for hosting the Prediction Show and for your hospitality and for feeding us here today. Tell the folks your address here, where they can find Choche's Barbecue, and what your specials are today, and what other kinds of things they can get.
1995 North Veterans Boulevard, Suite A, here in Eagle Pass. We have a daily special. Today is chile relleno. Tomorrow we got our pork guisado. Fridays our brisket guisado. Saturdays, Coach's favorite here, the beef rib. Yeah, I mean, we love football. I mean, these guys know, most of these guys know me and how much it meant to me and how it continues to still mean something to me. So I try to give back now that I can a little more, and it's great to have you all here all the time.
Well, and we want to congratulate you for bringing something like this to Eagle Pass. I think it is, much needed, and I think the crowds here in your parking lot speaks for itself every day. Just packed with people. I've tried that beef rib; it's pretty amazing. I got to tell you, that chile relleno sounds delicious too. So again, Choche, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for having us here. And we look forward to seeing you in seasons coming forward. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. Appreciate you. And we want to say thank you to the rest of our sponsors on behalf of Universal Media Connections, Valda Tire and Record Service, Nevada's Law Firm, Oster, Onésimo Elizondo, Saritas Tortilla Factory, TNT Rental, Stat Emergency, Tabity Insurance, Chapalao Group, Choche's Barbecue, Lorena Melo State Farm, Brown Chevrolet, Vargas Hardware, Ruiz & Associates, Maverick AC Supply, Rudy's Optical, Yopos, United Medical Centers. And on behalf of Eagle Pass Sports Central, we want to thank Brown Chevrolet, Buick GMC of Eagle Pass, Ancira Ford of Eagle Pass, State Representative Eddie Morales, Choche's Barbecue, and IBC Bank. Folks, we're going to be there for both of these games, Thursday and Friday. Won't you join us? And thank you so much for joining us here at the Prediction Show. We'll see you soon.